Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're keeping track of your daily current affairs for the UPSC exam, well, this is our analysis for May 17th, 2025, Part 1.
That's right. We've got a bunch of sources lined up covering quite a range of topics relevant to your prep.
And yeah, some of these might be familiar, so think of them as important revisions too. If this helps you cut through the clutter, do give us a like and subscribe for more.
Our mission today, as always, is to pull out the really crucial bits, the essential knowledge from these sources to help you.
Okay, let's get started. First up, NOTA.
Yes, NOTA. None of the above. There's been a recent public interest litigation, a PIL, filed by the VD Center for Legal Policy.
Oh, okay.
And they're basically asking for NOTA to be mandatory in all elections, even, interestingly, in constituencies where there's only one candidate.
Right. Just so we're all clear, NOTA is that option on the ballot, lets you reject all candidates, while keeping your vote secret.
Exactly. It came about in 2013, didn't it? After the Supreme Court judgment in the PUCL versus Union of India case.
Yeah, that's the one. We first saw it used in those 2013 assembly elections, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram, Rajasthan, Delhi MP, and then the 2014 general elections.
But the crucial thing to remember is its current legal status. No votes. They're counted, sure, but they're considered invalid in terms of deciding the winner.
So even if NOTA gets the most votes?
The candidate with the next highest number of valid votes wins. It's purely an expression of rejection. It doesn't actually alter the outcome right now.
So it's a signal maybe of dissatisfaction?
Precisely. And that's part of the debate. Could that signal eventually lead to, real electoral reform? It's a question worth considering.
Mm-hmm. And the Election Commission, they've pushed back a bit on making it mandatory everywhere.
They have. They point out that uncontested elections are actually really rare. I mean, get this, only 6 cases in Lok Sabha polls since 1971.
6? Wow. And only 9 overall since 1952.
Right. So is it needed for those few single-candidate races? That's their question. Plus, they mention the practical side.
Legislative changes, I imagine.
Exactly. You need amendments to the Representation of the People Act, 1951, and the Conduct of Election Rules, 1961. It's not just a simple switch.
Okay, so for your UPSC prep, key things on NOTA: its purpose, its current lack of impact on results, and this whole debate around making it mandatory, including the EC's view and the legal steps needed. Got it. Let's shift gears completely. Space.
Indeed. ISRO is moving forward. Mission number 101 is coming up. PSLV C-61 is set to launch the EOS-09 satellite on May 18th from Sriharikota.
EOS-09, Earth observation, so better surveillance imaging.
That's the core idea. And importantly, all weather capability day and night.
How does it manage that?
It's equipped with C-band synthetic aperture radar, SAR. Think of it like radar vision that cuts through clouds, works anytime.
Okay, so high-resolution images no matter the weather. That sounds useful.
Immensely. For disaster monitoring, mapping floods, agriculture assessment, border surveillance, even urban planning. It's a big boost.
Definitely enhances India's remote sensing abilities. Good for environmental watch, security, climate resilience.
Yeah. And it shows India's growing self-reliance in these critical tech areas. It solidifies our position as a major space player. How that translates geopolitically or economically down the line, that's another interesting angle.
True. And sticking with space, but looking further out.
Yeah.
Chandrayaan-5? Or LUPEX?
Yes, LUPEX, Lunar Polar Exploration Mission. And this was a collaboration, ISRO and JAXA, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency.
Ah, international cooperation. They just had a meeting, right?
They did, the 3rd technical interface meeting in Bengaluru, sorting out the details. It's good to place this in the context of the whole Chandrayaan series for your prep.
Right. We had Chandrayaan-1, the orbiter, found water molecules.
Then Chandrayaan-2, orbiter worked, but the land rover part didn't quite make it.
But Chandrayaan-3 nailed the landing and rover deployment. Huge success.
Absolutely. And next up is Chandrayaan-4, aiming for lunar sample return.
Okay, and so Chandrayaan-5 LUPEX fits in how?
It's this joint mission focusing specifically on lunar volatiles, especially water ice, in those permanently shadowed regions, the PSRs, near the lunar South Pole.
Fascinating. Who's doing what?
JAXA provides the launch vehicle, their H324L. ISRO is building the lander. And the rover comes from MHI, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, in Japan.
And the instruments.
It's a real mix.
Yeah.
Payloads from ISR, JAXA, ESA, the European Space Agency, and even NASA. Truly global.
So the aim is to analyze this ice and stuff on the spot. In situ analysis.
Exactly. To better understand lunar resources, maybe potential for future human bases,
Okay. So UPSC takeaways on space. India's steady progress, both solo with EOS-09 for Earth observation and in major international partnerships like LUPEX for lunar science, really hitting strides in both areas.
Definitely. Now, from space back down to Earth, focusing on a significant cultural site.
Right, the Shri Banke Bihari Temple in Vrindavan. The Supreme Court just gave the green light for a big development plan, didn't they?
Yes, a Rs 500 crore plan by the Uttar Pradesh government for the temple corridor.
This is a major Hindu temple dedicated to Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, Mathura district. The name itself, Banke Bihari.
It's descriptive, isn't it? Bank means bent in three angles, referring to the Krishna idol's posture. And Bihari means the supreme enjoyer.
And the history. It was established by Swami Haridas.
That's right, who was also, interestingly, the guru of Tansen, the musician. The current temple structure dates back to 1864. It's noted for its craftsmanship.
And the unique oil paintings inside.
Yes, on the walls and ceiling. Quite distinct. It also had a role during the freedom struggle.
Oh, how so?
It was apparently a center for revolutionary activities. There are reports that Bundelkhand Kesari newspaper was secretly published there.
Huh. Didn't know that. So for UPSC, important to know the cultural, historical significance of such sites and keep an eye on major developments like this corridor plan.
Precisely. Now, shifting to agriculture and economics.
The Jute Corporation of India, JCI, they've raised the minimum selling price for jute.
That's right, the MSP, up from €5,335 €5,650 per quintal for the 2025-26 crop year. The idea is to help farmers avoid distress sales.
And JCI itself, it's a government body.
Yes, a central public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Textiles. It was set up back in 1971.
And its main job is?
Price support. It buys raw jute and mesta directly from growers at the MSP set by the CACP, that's the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. No quantity limits.
So it acts as a safety net against middlemen and price drops?
Essentially, yes. Provides stability. And they've grown quite a bit.
Their network covers several states now.
7 major jute-growing states: West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh. They have a wide reach.
What else do they do besides MSP operations?
Quite a lot. They manage fiber stocks, including imports, do commercial trading, handle exports of fiber and jute goods, and even promote jute exports.
Okay. So the takeaway here is understanding how government agencies like JCI intervene in agricultural markets to support farmers and specific industries like jute. Important mechanism. Now, let's look at some global events.
Right. Starting with geology, the Sakurajima Volcano in Japan just had another eruption.
Ah, Sakurajima. That's one of the really active ones, isn't it? Sent ash pretty high this time.
Yeah, 3,000 meters. It's on Kyushu Island, southern end, surprisingly close to Kagoshima City, only about 4 kilometers away.
And it's a stratovolcano, formed at a convergent plate boundary.
Exactly. Built up in layers over time. It actually sits on the rim of the bigger air caldera. Has a north peak and south peak.
Wasn't it an island originally?
It was. Until a major eruption in 1914 connected it to the mainland. It's constantly puffing out smoke, and minor eruptions are common.
And when it goes big, it's ash, pyroclastic flows, the dangerous stuff.
Volcanic bombs, poisonous gases too. The lava is andesitic, thick, viscous, high gas content.
Okay, so for awareness, keep track of major geological events like this and know the basic characteristics of these active volcanic zones, plate tectonics, eruption types, useful context. Now, something quite different, a rediscovery.
Yes, a really hopeful story. The Blyde Rondavel Flat Gecko. It was rediscovered in April 2025.
Where was this?
In South Africa, Blyde River Canyon, Mpumalanga province. And get this, it hadn't been officially recorded for 34 years.
34 years? Wow, what kind of gecko is it?
Small, about 8-9 centimeter, flat body, which suggests it lives in rock crevices, likely on cliffs. That might explain why it's so elusive.
So it's found in 91, then just vanish?
Pretty much. No confirmed sightings leading to fears of extinction, or maybe it wasn't even a valid species. The IUCN had it listed as data deficient because of the lack of info.
And who found it again?
The Endangered Wildlife Trust, or EWT. They confirmed it during an expedition to a really hard-to-reach rocky outcrop, actually near where it was first found.
That's amazing. Has the EWT found other lost species?
They have. This gecko is the 5th rediscovery for them recently. There was a dune mole missing for 80 years, a butterfly, another lizard, and a frog.
Incredible. So the takeaway is the importance of conservation, obviously, but also that species thought lost can sometimes reappear. Highlights how much we still don't know. Okay, let's move to international relations and security.
Right. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. There was a recent statement by India's defense minister
What's the gist?
suggesting that Pakistan's nuclear weapons should be under IAEA supervision for global security.
Okay, that's a significant statement. Let's quickly recap the IAEA itself. It's the main body for nuclear cooperation, right?
Yes, the lead intergovernmental organization promotes safe, secure, peaceful use of nuclear tech. It works against proliferation. Atoms for Peace and Development is their motto within the UN system.
Founded in the 50s.
Statute approved 52 came into force 57. Headquarters in Vienna, and it has wide membership, 178 states now.
It operates independently but reports to the UN.
That's correct. Reports to the General Assembly and the Security Council.
And its structure. How does it work?
There's the General Conference of all members, meets annually, sets policy, budget. Then the Board of Governors, 35 members, meets more often, handles safeguards, appoints the Director General. And the Secretariat runs the daily operations, led by the DG.
So what are its main jobs, its core functions?
Ensuring peaceful use is key. They apply comprehensive nuclear safeguards, monitoring, inspections, analysis, basically verifying stuff isn't diverted to weapons. This is crucial under the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty.
First line of defense, essentially.
Exactly. They also help countries build capacity for nuclear emergency response and foster scientific cooperation and tech exchange.
Right. So for UPSC, understanding the IAEA's role is vital, maintaining security, promoting peaceful uses, its structure, and especially its safeguards function in the context of non-proliferation. Okay, now let's talk about the body you're all preparing to face.
The Union Public Service Commission, UPSC itself. Now, our sources don't have specific news about the chairman right now, but they do give us key facts about the commission, always good revision.
Definitely. It's a constitutional body, Articles 315 to 323. Formed originally in 1926, got constitutional status in 1950. Article 315 provides for commissions for the Union states.
And its composition. Chairman plus other members.
Yes, the president decides the number, and they're appointed by the president. At least half the members need 10-plus years of government service experience.
Tenure is 6 years or age 65, whichever comes first.
Correct. What about resignation or removal?
They can resign by writing to the president. Removal is also by the president, but only on specific constitutional grounds. For misbehavior, it's a bit more complex.
How so?
The president has to refer the case to the Supreme Court for inquiry. The president acts based on the SE's advice after the inquiry.
And what about jobs after serving on the UPSC? There are restrictions, right?
Yes. The chairman isn't eligible for any further government employment, union, or state.
Okay.
Other members, though, can be appointed as chairman of UPSC or chairman of a state PSC, but not other government posts. And importantly, no reappointment for a second term for any one chairman or member.
Got it. And its main duties. We know it conducts exams.
That's its core role. India's central recruitment agency, civil services exam, engineering services, medical services, and so on. But it also advises the president and governors.
On what kinds of matters?
Appointments, transfers, disciplinary actions, framing recruitment rules and procedures. It has a significant advisory function, too.
Okay, so essential for you, the aspirant. Know your UPSC. Its constitutional basis, composition, appointment removal processes, post-service restrictions, and its dual role of recruitment and advice, foundational knowledge. Now let's shift to tribal welfare.
Yes, focusing on the Chenchu tribe. They're recognized as a particularly vulnerable tribal group, a PBTG.
And the news is?
The Telangana government has sanctioned 10,000 Indi Rama houses for Chenchu families. Significant welfare measure.
Where are the Chenchu primarily found?
Mostly in the Nalamalai forests of Andhra Pradesh, where they are listed as a PVTG.
Yeah.
The populations also exist in Telangana, Karnataka, and Odisha. They are mainly a food-gathering community.
Their language is Chenchu, Dravidian family.
Yes, though many also speak Telugu. Their villages, called Penta, are usually small clusters of huts, often based on kinship. Simple dwellings, few possessions.
What about their social structure?
Small conjugal families are common. Women have equal rank, which is noteworthy. Marriage happens upon maturity. There's a village elder, the Pedmanishi, who helps maintain social order. Rituals are generally simple, not highly specialized.
And their livelihood is tied to the forest.
Very much so. Gathering roots, fruits, tubers, leaves like beedi leaves, moha flower, honey, gum, tamarind. They sell these for income. Often through traders or cooperatives. They might do some forest labor, but traditional gathering is preferred.
What about their religion?
They worship various deities and have adopted some Hindu practices over time. They have special long-standing connection with the Sri Temple, Lord Shiva, and Devi Brahmaramba, which is right in their traditional territory. They even get special privileges there.
Interesting. So, key takeaway. Awareness of India's diverse tribal groups like the Chenchu, their unique cultures, livelihoods, PVTG status, and government welfare initiatives like this housing scheme. Okay, one last topic for this part, conservation.
Right. The Himachal Pradesh government has notified a new conservation reserve.
Which one is this?
The Tsarap Chu Conservation Reserve. It's in the Lahaul-Spiti region.
Lahaul-Spiti, okay.
And it's large. Very. 1,585 square kilometers, making it the largest conservation reserve in India now. Its location is key, too.
How so? Bordered by Ladakh.
Yes, Ladakh to the north, Khyber Wildlife Sanctuary east, Kabjima Nala south, and Chandratal Wildlife Sanctuary west. It sits right at the confluence of the Unam River and Tsarap Nala.
And it covers the Sharbat Nala catchment. That sounds important for wildlife movement.
Exactly. It's a critical wildlife corridor linking Khyber and Chandratal sanctuaries. Management will involve a committee, including local panchayat members, which is good for balancing conservation and local needs.
What kind of biodiversity are we talking about?
It's significant. Considered a high-density snow leopard habitat in Himachal, also home to Tibetan wolf, Baral or blue sheep, Himalayan ibex, Kiang, which is the wild ass, and Tibetan argali sheep.
Any notable birds?
Yes, rare ones like the rosefinch, Tibetan raven, and the yellow-billed chaff.
Okay, so important points for UPSC. Understand the establishment of protected areas like conservation reserves, their geographical role like corridors, the importance of inclusive management, and the specific biodiversity they protect, especially key species like the snow leopard.
Absolutely. A significant conservation step.
And that wraps up our deep dive for May 17th, 2025, Part 1, focusing on what you need for your UPSC prep. We've covered quite a bit today.
We really have. From NOTA and its implications, ISRO's strides with EOS-09 and LUPEX, the Banke Bihari Temple development.
The JCI's role in jute pricing, the Sakurajima eruption, the amazing gecko rediscovery.
The IAEA's global function, the UPSC structure itself, welfare for the Chenchu tribe, and finally the Tsarap Chu Conservation Reserve.
It's a lot, but hopefully breaking it down helps. We encourage you to reflect on these, maybe think about how these different pieces, environment, economy, technology, society, governance, all connect.
That interconnectedness is often key to understanding the bigger picture for the exam.
Indeed. So if you found this analysis useful for your UPSC journey, please do hit that like button and subscribe for more focused content like this. We'll be back with Part 2 soon.